You just heard a Thai mother calling her baby ugly and worthless. The contradiction is jarring. Her voice was tender, but her words were cruel. Here's the impossible situation. Imagine holding your newborn, the child you've waited 9 months to meet. Now imagine that expressing your love could kill them. In Thailand, centuries ago, beautiful babies died more often, as if something invisible was hunting the children parents treasured most. So mothers created a solution. They would lie to save their babies' lives. This is Mae Sue, the mother who buys children. She appears in 7 animal forms, each hunting different children. Here's her brilliance. Mae Sue can be negotiated with. She'll spare your child if you convince her they're worthless. Today, we'll meet all 7 Mae Sues. We'll witness the basket ceremony that sells babies to protect them. We'll discover why this isn't superstition. It's psychological technology for every parent's impossible challenge, loving something you might lose. Let me transport you to central Thailand, 1850. This world had no electric hum, no traffic noise, no modern machinery. Instead, you could hear water buffalo in rice fields, wooden cartwheels on dirt paths, the sound of daily survival without modern conveniences. This is Noi's world. She's 22, living in a farming village. She's already buried 3 children. Now she's pregnant again, and terrified. In Noi's time, pregnancy wasn't celebrated. It was endured. 1 in 2 babies never reached their first birthday. Everyone in the village knew these odds. Everyone had attended too many tiny funerals. Everyone understood that loving a newborn was both inevitable and potentially devastating. So communities developed what we might call psychological technologies, mental frameworks to manage the unmanageable fear. Thai culture blended 2 belief systems. Buddhism, which had arrived from India over 1,000 years earlier, taught that death was just transition. Souls moved through multiple lifetimes. A baby's death reflected cosmic patterns beyond human control. This provided meaning, but not comfort. Animism added something different, the possibility of negotiation. If spirits controlled life and death, then spirits could be bargained with, tricked even. For parents watching their babies suffer, this possibility was everything. This is where Mae Sue enters, pronounced Mae Sue. Mae means mother. Sue means to buy or purchase. Literally, mother who buys. But what does she buy and why? According to tradition, Mae Sue appears in 7 different forms, each with an animal head. Notice how each animal represents different qualities. Lion-headed Mae Sue, targeting children with early leadership qualities. Tiger-headed Mae Sue, hunting the most beautiful children. Elephant-headed Mae Sue, seeking exceptionally intelligent children. Horse-headed Mae Sue, drawn to children with boundless energy. Buffalo-headed Mae Sue, pursuing unusually well-behaved children. Monkey-headed Mae Sue, attracted to particularly charming children. Naga-headed Mae Sue, the serpent dragon, pursuing spiritually sensitive children. Why 7 forms? Because different types of children attracted different spiritual threats. Beautiful children caught Mae Sue's attention. Healthy, bright, energetic children seemed especially valuable to her. Children who laughed early, walked early, developed quickly, these children were in danger. This created a psychological paradox you can hear in every parent's dilemma. The healthier and more beautiful your baby, the more danger they faced. Success became threat. Beauty became liability. Love became risk. How do you protect something by pretending not to want it? How do you save someone by convincing an invisible buyer they're worthless? Thai parents developed an elegant solution. They would lie, systematically, strategically, lovingly. They gave their precious children names like Dam, meaning black or dark, Ma, meaning dog, Ueng, meaning bullfrog, Pia, meaning fish. These weren't accidental names. They were carefully chosen weapons against spiritual attention. Parents would speak negatively about their babies in public. You might hear a mother say, "This child is so ugly. This child is useless. I wish I didn't have this child." But underneath the harsh words, you'd hear love protecting itself through performance. And when children reached especially vulnerable ages, when they started showing personality, parents would perform the ultimate protective lie, the basket ceremony. They would literally sell their child to Mae Sue, then immediately buy them back, creating a spiritual contract through transfer of ownership. But why would this work? The answer isn't in the metaphysics, it's in the psychology. To understand Mae Sue's psychological brilliance, let's examine each of her 7 forms as voices of parental fear. Lion-headed Mae Sue speaks, "I hunt children who show early leadership, babies who make strong eye contact with adults, toddlers who walk confidently before others their age, children who seem fearless when they should be cautious." Can you hear the parental fear behind this? The terror that confident children attract dangerous attention, that strength makes children vulnerable, that leadership qualities might lead to early death in a world where standing out could be fatal. Tiger-headed Mae Sue speaks, "I seek the most beautiful children, babies with perfect features that make adults stop and stare, children so lovely they photograph like angels, toddlers whose beauty draws attention wherever they go." This embodies every parent's fear that beauty is dangerous, that perfection attracts malevolent forces, that being too lovely makes children targets for jealousy, kidnapping, or spiritual predation. Elephant-headed Mae Sue speaks, "I desire children with exceptional minds, babies who reach developmental milestones early, children who speak complex sentences young, toddlers who ask sophisticated questions that surprise adults." Here's the terror that brilliance is risky, that smart children stand out in dangerous ways, that intellectual gifts might provoke spiritual jealousy or mark children as threats to be eliminated. Horse-headed Mae Sue speaks, "I chase children with boundless vitality, babies who sleep little and move constantly, children who run everywhere instead of walking, toddlers who never seem tired or worn down." The anxiety that energetic children are more vulnerable, that vitality attracts spiritual attention, that movement makes children harder to protect and easier for supernatural forces to notice. Buffalo-headed Mae Sue speaks, "I pursue unusually well-behaved children, babies who rarely cry or fuss, children who follow instructions without resistance, toddlers who seem mature beyond their years." The fear that compliance itself is dangerous, that children who adapt too well might be too valuable for spirits to ignore, that maturity marks children as ready for spiritual harvest. Monkey-headed Mae Sue speaks, "I am attracted to particularly charming children, babies who smile early and often, children who make adults laugh and feel joy, toddlers whose personalities light up rooms." The terror that charm draws supernatural attention, that children who bring happiness to others might be stolen by entities who want that joy for themselves. Naga-headed Mae Sue speaks, "I pursue spiritually sensitive children, babies who seem to see things others cannot, children who react to invisible presences, toddlers who demonstrate unusual spiritual awareness." The anxiety that psychic sensitivity makes children vulnerable to spiritual predation, that openness to invisible worlds creates dangerous exposure. Together, these 7 forms represent every positive quality parents hope for in their children, and every way those qualities might become liabilities in a dangerous world. Now, let's examine the basket ceremony itself. Picture this. The village gathers. Elders bring traditional knowledge. The child's parents approach a woven basket placed in the center. The ceremony master speaks, "Mae Sue, we offer you this child, this ugly, worthless, troublesome child. Take ownership. This child belongs to you now. Here is your payment." The parents place money or goods in the basket, literally purchasing Mae Sue's ownership. The child is symbolically transferred to spiritual custody. Then, immediately, the reversal. Mae Sue, we would like to buy this child back from you. Here is a higher payment. More money enters the basket. The child is purchased back into human ownership. But crucial detail, the child now belongs to the parents as Mae Sue's representatives. They are caretakers, not owners. If Mae Sue decides to reclaim her property, she has that right. This ceremony accomplishes several psychological objectives simultaneously. Mae Sue's psychological sophistication operates on 7 distinct layers. Layer 1, anxiety management. Parents watching vulnerable children experience constant low-level terror. Every fever, every accident, every unusual behavior triggers fear of loss. Mae Sue redirects this anxiety into actionable ritual. Instead of helpless worry, parents can perform protection. The ritual creates illusion of control in uncontrollable circumstances. Psychologists recognize this as effective anxiety management. When people feel powerless, ritual provides agency. Even if the ritual doesn't objectively change outcomes, it changes subjective experience. The performance of protection reduces stress hormones and creates psychological relief. Layer 2, cognitive dissonance resolution. Parents face impossible psychological tension. They must love their children completely while accepting those children might die. This creates cognitive dissonance, holding contradictory beliefs simultaneously. Western psychology often resolves this through compartmentalization. Love in one mental box, mortality awareness in another. Mae Sue provides integration rather than compartmentalization. Through the basket ceremony, parents acknowledge both their love and their terror. They express devotion through the act of protection. They demonstrate care through strategic rejection. The ugly names and negative comments aren't denials of love, they're expressions of love's deepest concern. This resolves the dissonance by making protective behavior into loving behavior. Layer 3, community support. Individual parents carrying anxiety about infant mortality suffer alone. Mae Sue creates shared framework for community involvement. The entire village participates in basket ceremonies. Everyone understands the protective performance. Everyone collaborates in maintaining the fiction. When a child receives an ugly name, the community supports the narrative. When parents speak negatively about their baby, neighbors nod in agreement. When the basket ceremony occurs, elders lend spiritual authority. This community reinforcement transforms individual anxiety into collective coping mechanism. Layer 4, meaning creation. Random infant death is psychologically unbearable. Humans need explanatory frameworks to process tragedy. Mae Sue provides structured meaning. Children die because spiritual forces desire them. The psychological benefits: first, it suggests children who die are special, so valuable that spirits want to possess them. This transforms tragedy into twisted honor. Second, it implies death serves purpose in cosmic economy. Mae Sue needs children for important spiritual work. Third, it creates possibility for prevention. If spirits can be negotiated with, parents retain some agency. Layer 5, guilt reduction. Parents whose children die often experience devastating guilt. Could they have done something different? Were they inadequate caregivers? Mae Sue redirects guilt into spiritual transaction. If a child dies despite the protective rituals, it's not parental failure. It's Mae Sue exercising her ownership rights. The parents fulfilled their caretaking obligations. The spiritual forces made business decisions beyond human control. Layer 6, identity protection. Loving a child who might die threatens parental identity. If children define your identity and children might disappear, then your sense of self becomes precarious. Mae Sue creates identity buffer. Parents become caretakers rather than owners. Their identity rests on quality of care, not on possession of children. Layer 7. Behavioral regulation. Mae Sue's system encourages specific behaviors that actually improve child survival. Parents who believe in spiritual threats pay closer attention to their children. Communities that practice collective protection provide more social support. Families that expect potential loss invest more heavily in preventive care. Modern psychological recognition. Contemporary psychology recognizes several Mae Sue elements as effective coping mechanisms. Cognitive reframing, changing how you think about a situation to reduce emotional distress. Mae Sue reframes child ownership as child caretaking. Anticipatory grief, processing potential loss before it occurs to reduce traumatic impact. Mae Sue rituals involve community acknowledgement of mortality. Social support networks, community involvement in individual challenges. Mae Sue ceremonies create village-wide participation in child protection. Meaning-making, creating explanatory frameworks for traumatic experiences. Mae Sue provides spiritual logic for infant mortality. Attachment regulation, balancing emotional connection with psychological protection. Mae Sue enables loving detachment. These mechanisms explain why Mae Sue persists even among educated modern Thai families. The psychological functions remain relevant regardless of literal belief in spirits. Human emotional needs don't disappear with modernization. They adapt to new contexts while maintaining core protective patterns. This suggests that Mae Sue represents not primitive superstition, but sophisticated emotional technology, a culturally specific solution to universal human challenges, a psychological framework developed through centuries of suffering and survival. We've journeyed deep into Mae Sue's psychological landscape. We've heard her 7 voices of parental fear. We've witnessed the basket ceremony that transforms children into spiritual property. We've discovered that beneath the supernatural surface lies sophisticated emotional technology, community-developed methods for surviving the impossible mathematics of loving mortal beings. But our exploration has raised a crucial question. If Mae Sue represents such elegant emotional wisdom, what happens when modernity arrives? When scientific medicine reduces infant mortality from 50% to less than 1%? When education challenges spiritual explanations? When urban life disrupts traditional communities? Does Mae Sue disappear? Does she evolve? Or does she reveal something so fundamentally human that even smartphones and skyscrapers can't eliminate her? The answer might surprise you. Consider modern Bangkok, car horns, construction, the sounds of international business. Now consider this voice. My name is Ploy. I'm 32, hold an MBA from Chulalongkorn University, work in international finance. My son attends an elite bilingual school. I believe in science, vaccines, modern medicine. But when my son turned 3, I performed an ancient ritual. I sold him to a spirit with an animal head in Bangkok in 2024. In Episode 2, we'll discover how Mae Sue survived modernization, how ancient wisdom integrates with contemporary knowledge, how educated families maintain traditional protections while embracing scientific healthcare, and what Mae Sue reveals about universal human patterns that transcend culture, education, and technological progress. Because Mae Sue's deepest secret isn't about Thai spirits, it's about the eternal human challenge of loving what we might lose. And every culture, including yours, has developed its own versions of the basket ceremony, its own protective performances, its own ways of loving through strategic detachment. The story gets deeper, the insights become more personal, and the ancient mother who buys children reveals truths about modern life that might change how you understand love, protection, and the impossible art of caring for mortal beings. Subscribe to continue this journey into the hidden wisdom of Mae Sue, because understanding how Thailand integrates tradition with modernity offers insights every culture needs, especially in a world where ancient human needs meet rapidly changing circumstances. Mae Sue's story is just beginning, and its most profound revelations are yet to come.
And that's the end of another otherworldly story. Please remember to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to not miss a thing. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, stay curious and keep an eye on the shadows.